The Drow may be one of the most evil races in all of D&D, but it's not just them, it's their gods too. So join us while we talk about the rest of the Drow Pantheon. Hi, I'm David, the Conqueror Chronicler, and last week we explored the darker gods of the Drow. Now it's time to finish this pantheon and ask ourselves the real question: why would anyone choose to worship them? So grab yourself a tea or coffee, and sit back and enjoy. Zinzerena is the princess of outcasts and the ultimate Drow comeback story. She began as a demigoddess of assassins and chaos. But during the time of troubles, which I'll talk about in a future video, she was killed by Lolth and stripped of her powers. That should have been the end of her story, but it wasn't. During the second Sundering, Zinzerena returned, reborn as the goddess of assassins, lies, and illusions. And that tells you everything you need to know about her. Zinzerena is cruel, but her cruelty is practical. She teaches her followers one core truth: survive by any means necessary. She is the trickster of the Drow Pantheon, the one who slipped through death itself, the one who in some ways even outplayed Lolth. Unlike most trickster figures, her appeal is, well, it's psychological. Tricksters don't follow the rules. They expose the cracks in power, the hypocrisy in the system, and the weakness in those who claim control. So who worships her? The outcasts, the lower classes, the ones forced to survive through cunning instead of strength. And it's not just them. Even fallen nobles may turn to Zinzerena, because in her eyes, failure isn't the end. It's just the beginning of your comeback. She is perfect for the Drow who refuses to stay broken, even if what they become is something much darker. So if you're a Drow outcast, maybe this is the one for you. The Drow equivalent of Robin Hood, for instance. Check her out, you may like her. And now, Malyk. And somehow, even after a trickster goddess, this is where things get weird. Malyk was once a powerful Drow lich who, during the time of troubles, ascended to godhood. He became the god of wild magic, chaotic, unstable, unpredictable power. And in a very Drow twist, he is now considered an aspect of Talos, which I'm struggling to wrap my head around, and maybe I'll discuss Talos in a future video so we can get this done as well. Malyk doesn't represent control, he represents unleashed chaos. And his followers aren't just rebels, they're seen as terrorists within Drow society, operating on the fringes, led by mysterious figures beyond the established order. But there's psychology to this. Malyk appeals to those who don't just want to survive the system, they want to burn it down and rebuild something anew. It's still evil, but it's a very different kind of evil. Not preservation, not manipulation, it's revolution through destruction. So if you're looking to play as this kind of character who worships Malyk, look at terrorists of the world. Don't forget that line of, one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. I'm not here to glorify any terrorist in particular, but I'm just saying most terrorists have support from someone. So why would your character choose to rebel and be considered a terrorist in Drow society? And now for something very different. Probably one of the most popular characters of the Drow Pantheon, someone more popular than Lolth, Eilistraee. And that's popular within the fandom, I'd say. The Dark Maiden, the Lady of Dance, the daughter of Lolth herself. I've touched on her in the previous video, and now we're going to talk about her. She's the only good goddess of the Drow. She is the goddess of beauty, song, dance, freedom, moonlight, swordwork, and hunting. A beacon of hope within the dark Zinzerena. When Lolth fell to darkness, Eilistraee chose to follow her, not out of loyalty, but because she believed that in darkness something had to be there to guide the Drow back to the light. And this choice defines her and her followers. Eilistraee is kind, free-spirited, compassionate, but this path of hers, it's a hard choice. She stood alone, opposed by the rest of the Dark Zinzerena, with only a fraction of their power, and yet she's never stopped fighting for her people. Her presence is described as overwhelmingly inspiring of awe, moving mortals to tears and making them feel like they've found something in their soul that they never had before but they've always been searching for. And when she leaves, this absence lingers, and it breaks your heart ever so slightly. Eilistraee welcomes all races, not just Drow. Her followers of elves, humans, half-elves, they all share one very basic belief. Harmony is possible. And here's the twist. Just like Lolth, her society is matriarchal. But instead of cruelty, it's built on care, nurture, and creation. She values artists as much as warriors, and expression as much as survival. Because in a world like the Drows, choosing kindness is rebellion. Psychologically, kindness in a cruel environment isn't weakness, it's a form of resistance. It builds resilience, it creates identity, it gives people control in a world designed to take it from them. Eilistraee offers something the other gods never could, a way out, a safe harbour in the storm. And just like in Buddhism, this kindness isn't passive, it's active, intentional, and disciplined. Her followers don't just reject darkness, they fight it by choosing to be good. Well folks, that's my summary of the Drow Pantheon. And this week, obviously Eilistraee is probably one of my favourites. Malyk I have a certain fondness towards, but last week's God of Oozes is my top of all the Drow Pantheon. Mostly because I'm male, so that's the one I'd have to worship, I guess. I do appreciate as well with Eilistraee, there is a certain parallel with her mothers. Like they're almost two sides of the same coin, where one chooses cruelty and the other one chooses kindness, and I like that that's been built into them. I've actually really enjoyed doing this, but next week I'm going to try something a bit different. But there'll still be more D&D content, so don't be too disappointed. And on that note, please comment below if there's any other races or D&D gods you want me to talk about, because I love covering what you guys do. This was a request by a viewer, so thank you to them. And I will see you all next week. Right, if you're stuck around for after the credits, also want to say, don't forget to like and subscribe. You know me, daily shorts, there's also TikTok, Instagram, and don't forget to check out nerdguys.com where we put up weekly articles, especially if you're going to MCM next month or San Diego Comic Con, there'll be stuff about those there. And just random thought pieces and our videos go up there. Anyway guys, see you all later.